So, hi, Sevrin, how have you been and how's the preparation for Fringe going on?
It's going all right. I'm pretty stoked to be here. I'm in Edinburgh right now. We just had tech for the show today, and that went super, super smoothly. Um, yeah, I've been really excited to do the show. I love doing it. We've been working on it for like a year and a half now. Actually, doing the show itself brings me a lot of joy. So I'm really hyped for that. We're at this last minute crunch time now where there's like a million little things to do. So it's like super stressful. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited for in like 1 week when there won't be a million things and it'll just be the show.
And how did you start as an artist, as a performer? So, how did it all begin? Can you take us back to the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, way back in the beginning when I was like a little kid, I used to just love to play and do like funny voices. Like I just make a little bunch of stupid jokes with my dad. We do a lot of impressions of characters from like SpongeBob and other cartoons. And then from that, he was always super encouraging and he was like, hey, you should try acting out. So we went, I started doing like the plays in middle and high school. And then I went to college and I was doing theater there. Um, yeah, and then I just really loved acting a lot. And I moved right to New York after I graduated. And I was doing more and more physical theater. I was finding myself to be like a physical comedian, basically, because I love joking around. I was leaning more and more towards comedy because it just like brought me a lot of joy. And I had one mentor in both at school and then in New York, who was the first person to ever say that I was a clown. And I didn't really understand at the time because I just like we were doing a kind of dramatic scene, and I was just someone that was coming to repair a piano. And he was like, no, no, no. He's like, you need to play something really well and then act like it sounds terrible. So I did that and I played something. I'm not very good, but I knew like one song. So I started doing that and I was like, oh, this sucks. Yeah, this is terrible. And everyone was laughing. And I was like, I don't know why. Um, but with doing some things with him, I started to be like, oh, okay, maybe this is an opportunity or like this is something that I want to do. And then I did some physical theater workshops as I traveled around. I traveled for a couple of years in Australia. I did a physical theater workshop there. It was all in like mask making. And there was this guy, Damien, who has this show called Gary Starr. He was in the workshop with me and he was like, hey, everyone that's in this workshop, come to my show. And I went to his show and I saw it and it was super silly and super stupid. And I was like, oh my God, that's the kind of thing I want to do. So then I found the clowning school I went to, which is like Philippe Gaulier. Found that through him. And then I went there and now I'm really like full on going for it.
So, what was the best learning you got from the Gaulier?
Oh, so many. The lesson that I say all the time, actually, there's like two main ones. I mean, easiest one, don't try to be funny. You've never been funny in your life. That's the best. Which sounds so counterintuitive. I didn't like that at first, but like afterwards, I realized what it really was. And it's just saying when you're doing something for an audience, don't just do it because you're like trying to be cheeky and trying to be silly and you're like, I'm going to try to be funny right now. But like do something that's really genuine and vulnerable. And usually the audience will love you more. And when you're really doing that, there's something really ridiculous in being like truly like very vulnerable and like some ridiculous made up circumstances that'll usually be much funnier than you trying to be like, oh, I have this amazing joke I'm going to do right now. That one. That's definitely the most. The other one that sticks with me a lot too was from another teacher there named David, and he said, "At any given moment, I can't change if I'm a good actor or not, but I can change if I'm having fun." And that is so true because there's so much pressure when you're a performer. You're like, I want to be I need to be a really good actor, and you get like so in your head. You're like, all these other people, maybe they've had more acting training or blah 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 blah. And then just at the end of the day, that's going to be useless because you're not going to take a 6 month class in acting right now on stage, but you can have a good time.
So, yeah, so the two lessons basically is don't try to be funny and have fun.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. You can synthesize them into one. Don't try to be funny, have fun.
Yeah, but that's so necessary for every kind of artist, I guess. Not just for a clown, but for every kind of artist.
Oh my
And
God. Yeah.
And do you remember the first play or the first act that you did that got the loudest applause or the loudest laughs?
Um, well, there was one moment in clown school specifically that really like there was a big shift because I had been spending like we were deep into school then. It was like 3 terms, and we were like 2 weeks into the third term. And there had been like the second term, I was really struggling for like the whole time. And the beginning of this whole third term, I was really struggling. So it was like a solid like 9 or 10 weeks of just like getting on stage and failing. And this school is like a famous school where you get on stage and like the teacher bangs a drum and he shoots some insults at you. He's like, "Hey, I do not care if this person dies right now." And you're like, "Oh my God, what?" But he wasn't even doing that. It was just like they'd hit the drum and it would be the next person. We would like do lessons, and I would have like other classmates talking over me and no one would notice. So I felt like I was getting increasingly invisible. And then I just had this class. It was a Chekhov scene, and we had been given the text like 2 days before, and we got to choose which scene we wanted to do, any from the like previous 2 weeks. And me and the scene partner were like, "Hey, let's do this scene. We've just gotten it, but let's do it." So we were. It wasn't even that I was necessarily trying to be funny. I was just trying. Ironically, I was trying to be a really good actor. I thought it is impossible to get off book for the scene. Like the pages, like a regular page, but it was like the text was like this big. So it was like 4 pages of that in a two-person scene. And I was like, no one can memorize this. It's physically impossible. But I was like, if I can know vaguely what I'm saying and if I can paraphrase it really well and I just really commit to it, everyone will be so impressed with me. And they're going to think, wow, this guy's amazing. So I just did that. And I really just went for it. And I had like all my inhibitions were down. It was an impossible task for me to accomplish. And it like got ridiculous laughs. Like we hadn't even reached the clown module, and the teacher like let the scene go for so long. Everyone was dying. And the teacher eventually stopped the scene like after it had gone on for way too long. And he just said, "Oh, we have a unit for this in 2 weeks." And the next class was clown. I was like, "What? What?" I was like, "This just feels so good. I don't know what I'm doing."
It just felt natural to you, I guess.
Yeah, it was like getting away every moment of being in my head. I think it was just being in a moment where it was such an impossible task. There was no way I would ever accomplish it. No way I would be the best actor in the class. No way I was going to be memorized. But I believed that I would. And I just did as hard as I could with that belief. And I failed spectacularly, but I kept trying.
Yeah, that was my second question. That this was your biggest applause, but what was your biggest not failure, I would say, but what was the hardest stage that you faced as a performer?
Hmm. Hardest stage? What do you mean? Like it was like a big challenge or?
Yeah, like something it must have been in a clown school or while performing that you did something on stage and it bombed. And
Hmm. Well, it's a little different. It was a little bit further back. I had a really difficult. I did before clown school. When I was doing like a lot of other theater things. They were comedic, but not as clowny. I did a children's theater tour, and it was like me and this one other person. We'd have our entire show, really simple backdrop, and all our props and costumes fit in a minivan, and we drove around the country. And we had 3 different shows that we were performing, and one of them, which we ended up doing the most, didn't quite have an audience, so it was really challenging. Like it was written to be a show that was for kids from like age of kindergarten, so like 6 years old, all the way up through 8th grade, so like 13 or something like that, or maybe even like 14. But it's like a significant age, like developmental range. So they were like writing this show to bring to schools and teach kids about holidays. And they were writing them with facts that were written for like the 8th graders that would understand, but they were written with language that was like I was talking to a 6-year old. So it was just, there wasn't quite an, like the 6 year olds weren't old enough to understand. And the 14-year olds felt like they were being talked to like they were babies. So no one was really nuts about it. And we did that show for a juvie, like a juvenile detention center, which is like it's
Uh-huh.
basically like a prison for kids. And they were a little bit older than the 14-year-olds even. So they were like 16. Like everyone there was like 16. The acoustics were horrible. Um, and none of the jokes landed, like nothing. It was like it was supposed to be a comedy, and like my scene partner, she was really funny in a way that I'm funny in a way where I don't always understand, but she was funny in a really clear, like witty way. So we bounced off each other with like a nice style that would work really well. But in that, it was like the most silent room, worst acoustics, just really tough.
Man, so this makes me wonder that even though you are a good performer, even though you are a great performer, you have practiced a lot, but you
Oh,
do need
thanks.
a good team to
Yeah.
pull things off.
Yeah, I think what was tricky with that too was that it was a little bit before clown school, so I didn't quite know some of the mentality that I would have. And also, like I said, this show, I felt like it didn't really have quite an audience. So I think I didn't really believe in it, which I do like now as I'm thinking about it, I think it is possible to make it work, but I think I have to like really believe in it and believe in myself.
So, guys, today our guest is Sevrin Willinder, who's bringing his show, Time Travel Postman. And he's also part of an ensemble cast of the Kobold Show. And today we are going to have a conversation with him about his shows at the Edinburgh Fringe, what's that about, and what elements does this show have. So, Sevrin, I would like to talk to you about, first of all, the Kobold Show, because
Mhm.
that's an ensemble show.
Mhm.
So, can you brief us a little bit about that show?
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much again for having me. Um, so the Kobold Show, I'm one of five people, and it's a silly little ensemble show. It's got a good mix of like Dungeons and Dragons and sort of clowniness. Um, I have only played Dungeons and Dragons like once or twice, but everyone else in the cast is like super familiar. So I kind of came in as like the clown in that group. But it's about a bunch of these little creatures from Dungeons and Dragons. They're called kobolds. They're like little gremlinies, like lizard kind of creatures. And typically in adventures, they are just like kind of like a throwaway little villain that the heroes fight. But in this, they're the ones that are going to go on an adventure, and they go on an adventure as a pack, and they're going to go try to climb a tower and get their biggest wish to come true.
So, how difficult was it performing in an ensemble? That because when you perform with five people, you have to make sure that your jokes resonate with everyone, the jokes bounce off perfectly good with everyone. And
Mhm.
considering the fact it's physical, you have to have like tremendous trust on every member.
Yeah. Well, it's been a unique process with that one because we actually so some of the cast is based in the US and some of the cast is from Scotland. So most of our rehearsals until getting to Scotland for the festival a few days early were all over Zoom or Discord. So there's a lot of online. So we just had to really like study up our parts and know them. And then when we met, so we met like a few days ago and didn't fully know. We're like, hey, I hope we all play well together. But since we met, it's been really, really nice. Everyone's been like super fun to play with. We've all gotten along really well, and getting the physicality, we've got it very lucky that we've gotten it really, really quickly. Um, the Scottish cast, they kind of all knew each other. And then one of the other, so it was three people from Scotland, and then two other US based cast members, and then the director and the stage manager, they're from the US as well. So the other person, the other American, has been in a production of this show before. So it was nice to have her. And the director and stage manager have also, they created the show. So it was like nice to have them as a guidepost. And then it was nice to have the vibe of the three Scottish performers already knowing each other. So they already vibed. So then it was like a few less moving parts. And I have connections to the other American performers because they're like, I'm like one connection removed from them. But now I know them. But yeah, it's been great. Everyone's meshed really well. It's been a lot of fun playing. We've been shocked at how well it's worked so far.
So are you playing a character or is it just you?
I'm a character. Yeah, my character's name is Trindle Shanks Jr. He's the smart kobold, and I got a lot of like gizmos and stuff.
Okay, so now I remember something that you said that
Mhm.
your teacher said that you have to play piano really well, but stupidly, something like that.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I think that's what you're doing. You're the smartest character that you're playing in a funny way.
Yeah, I think so. I'm like the smartest character among a group of like they're kind of idiots, you know? And we do the whole show intentionally in gibberish, like it's the like kobold language. So even among ourselves, we had to get kind of clear with what we were saying, but also we don't technically know literally everything that everyone's saying. So we're forced to be really expressive and simple with what we're saying in the way that you would talk to like a young child. Um, and then yeah, my gizmos and stuff, they're like ridiculous things. Like I had a random throwaway idea that we're doing now. Not a spoiler, it's very early on, but there's like a point where we're trying to open a door and we can't figure out how to open it. Like we have a strong character who's like, "Oh, I'm so strong, I'll open it." And I'm like, "No, no, no, you got to use your brain." So I pull out a little gadget from my bag, and it's like an electric plunger. So I stick it to the door, and I'm like trying to open it with this plunger. It's silly. But I'm like, it's a genius idea. No,
So we
it's
can
so
see some
dumb.
buffoon clowning here as well, right?
Yeah, just being like an idiot. It's great.
And now talking about who inspired you as a kid and who do you look up to? Like, who are your idols when it comes to performing?
Oh, so many. I have a bunch of weirdo ones. I really love like Tim Heidecker. I grew up watching a lot of like Tim and Eric with my dad, just like weird, like what are they doing? Like their brains just work in ways that I will never understand. And I think it's beautiful. I also love this guy, Nathan Fielder. He really commits to like way out there stuff. And it's just so much fun.
And you mentioned SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, SpongeBob, of course. Yeah. Tom Kenny. Oh, Steven Hillenburg, the people that made that. Oh, they're so funny. I feel like I wish life looked more cartoony like SpongeBob.
And now coming to your show, Time Travel Postman. So I saw a couple of
Yeah.
clips of that, and it kind of remind me of the good old times of Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton
Mm.
comedy.
Oh, thanks.
Because
This is crazy. Yeah.
no, because you're stuck in your chair in some like when you're time traveling, you're stuck in your chair and you're like
Mhm.
doing all kind of physical comedy with your body while sitting on a
Mhm.
chair. And it
Mhm.
reminds me of all those like cartoons we used to see where the cartoon character one leg is stuck somewhere or one body part is stuck somewhere and is just trying to
Mhm.
like do all the physical bits with it.
Yeah.
So that's what it gave me the little vibe. And
So cool.
the show is about a postman who has to deliver letters through different times and he's asking the audience for help, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's probably not the best at his job. Um, but he loves doing it and he loves making friends and giving people cool stuff in the mail. So he's like sort of a postman in the future, where like, he has to go back and give significant postage to different time periods. Like I'll give like little teasers and stuff. Like at one point he has to go to the moon, like to the moon
Uh-huh.
landing, and he has to like deliver the flag that's going to go to the moon. It's like
Uh,
silly things like that.
but you're asking the audience for help. So how much audience participation can we see?
There's a bunch. There's like it's like a ton almost immediately. It's primarily audience participation, which I love, but as an audience member, I often get really stressed out about. So what I'll say, like as a big thing, maybe justify or disclaimer or whatever, there's a ton of audience participation, but I would say don't let that dissuade you in any way. We really made this show intentionally for people that love to participate and people that don't love to participate. I really do my best. I'm very grateful for every single audience member that comes in to the show. Like they've taken their time, spent some money, haven't spent money and they get a comp or something, totally okay. But they've taken their time to come watch and said, "Hey, we want to see what you're doing." And I'm so genuinely grateful for that. So I really want to respect anyone that comes in and like honor their time. So we really make sure if anyone is remotely uncomfortable, I step away and I give them all the space they need. My one brag, I will say, is that I've met a lot of people that have come up to me after the show that have said, "Hey, I usually don't like audience participation, but by the end of the show, I really wanted to play." And that like brings me so much joy because that is like low key or high key. That's been a goal of mine with the show.
So I guess your the goal of your audience participation isn't just to make audience laugh, but it's to
Mhm.
make them, feel happy and better about themselves also.
Yeah, I think a lot of the theming, oh, sorry with the lighting.
That's okay.
Um, a lot of the theming with the show is around friendship, and we really wanted to make the show was inspired by a period of time where I traveled around a lot and I made a lot of friends and beautiful connections, some for a long time, some for a short time, but how they really impacted me. And we really wanted to make a show that shows the beauty of human connection. So honestly, if somehow my big, naive, super big dream would be if you've come to the show and you've interacted with a stranger, maybe you've made a new friend. Like that would be the coolest thing to me in the world. If I met you like a year later and you were like, "Oh my God, I met like one of my new best friends at your show." I'd be like, "Really? That's that's like the greatest thing I've ever heard."
And you're not doing this show alone. It's not a one man show. You're doing it with Melissa, if I'm right.
Yeah, Melissa. So we've said it's a two-person show disguised as a one-person show because it is me
Okay.
alone on stage the whole time, and then I pull in audience members. But my friend Melissa, I co-created everything. She's super busy right now. She wanted to jump on the call, but she is so instrumental to making this piece. We co-created everything from scratch with literally nothing. I told her I wanted to make a show that feels so vulnerable for me that you also feel vulnerable. And she was so down. So there's a lot of it's very interactive with me and her. We play a lot of games with each other because she also runs the tech. So I made a lot of I designed all the sound, and there's a lot of sound cues that happen very specifically live and that will play. Even today, we discovered another new game in rehearsals, and we've been doing the show for like a year and a half.
Oh,
Uh, we discovered another new game. We're like really excited because she told me in one of the last rehearsals, there's a part, again, minor spoiler, there's a part where we have an audience member get killed. Um, and it's all pretend. They're fine. Um, so we have them get killed, and she was like, "Hey, you know what? To really highlight this moment, we could play taps, which is like a classic, like US kind of song that plays at funerals." And we're like, "Okay." And then we were playing around with that sound juxtaposed to the regular song that was playing at the time. And she was like, "Wait a minute, I know what we can do. When you take when this person dies, you can take your helmet off and put it over your chest. And then whenever you do that movement, I'll play the song. But when you put it back, I'll play the regular song." So we
oh.
now have like another random little thing we can just mess with each other. And so like now I'm gonna at some point take it off and she's gonna have to play that song. And then it'll just give like a nice little bit of keeping us awake and alive and in conversation and in play with each other that really like she's so much a part of it then.
Man, it's really difficult, like managing the text live.
Yeah. Oh my God. The tech live is it's great. I honestly like at this point, and I've said it for a long time, I'm like, I don't trust anyone else to tech it.
It's so good to have a partner who can resonate your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so grateful for her. And it's resonating like the ideas of doing things, but like her brain is so wildly different from mine. We have such entirely different interpretations and ways of getting to things. So that's like always super exciting. It keeps us alive where we're like very much in sync on the things that matter, but it also is like, whoa, what did you throw at me? Which really keeps us both alive.
And during this 1.5 year course of your show, has there ever
Mhm.
been a phase that you questioned yourself about this show that maybe this is not going the right path?
Oh yeah, so many times. Oh my God. We've had rehearsals where we've gotten like existential and then we just like sat like like she's been sitting or I've been sitting or we've been standing and we're like, what are we doing? So many rehearsals. I think one of the scariest ones was like We brought a work in progress version of this show to Fringe last year under a different title, and it was like very different. We had a lot to discover still. Um, we brought one last year, and then I think like a week into the run, I said to Melissa, I was like, what is this show about? Like, what are we doing? And she was like, why are you asking me this now? So we had to like really have some long discussions and be like, okay, it's about this. Oh, I don't think that's happening. Oh, we need to change this. Oh, we need to change that.
And how long is the run in the Fringe?
The Fringe. So we're going to be doing this. We have our first preview is tomorrow, and then our opening will be 2 days after that, and our last show is the 31st. So we're running from the 5th to the 31st, 24 times. We have 1 day off a week.
And can we see some modification in every show, or is it going to be the same?
It's the previews. We have like a couple little things we're like going to test out because they're in preview form. And then from then, it's pretty much going to be right now. This version of the show, anyway, is very streamlined. But there will be, of course, a little bit different each night, depending on what the audience brings, because there is a lot of participation. So there's some room of like, I'm ready for someone to throw something at me.
And I think this pretty much sums up your show. It's a very streamlined show full of physical comedy and a tech you can rely on.
Yeah, for real. It definitely does. And at this point, after having done it so many times, I feel like I'm ready for anything.
So, what would be the one thing that you would say to anyone who is going to watch your show at the Fringe?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming.
See, I normally ask, no, people normally ask the performers that how would they bring in more audience and what would you say to the people who are not coming to see you at Fringe? But I ask always the other question because that would be a message to your fans.
Yeah. Oh, so I want to know, like, you want to know what I say to people that aren't coming?
Yeah.
It's going to be really fun. I promise. It's going to be really dumb.
And you might leave with a best friend at the end of the show.
That's such a better tagline. I got to get better at marketing.
Oh, it's fine. See, I've been doing interviews for the last 1 week, so I got it. And also, one
You're
very
on.
important question. Your show may be called The Time Travel Postman, but it's not about time travel. It's not about delivering letters. It's about friendship, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, it's going to be a wonderful show and a beautiful one for sure.
Thanks. I hope so.
All the best, and thank you so much for being a part of this.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
And I hope you like this, the not your typical kind of promotion.